fantastic decision. What a way to start the day. It's good to be here. Thank you for joining us. Email Todd at toddhuffshow.com. We're on Facebook. Folks, I think we're back on YouTube. Are we back on YouTube? I may have Oz check it. It looks like it's sending the data to YouTube as well. What do you know? If you're listening to me on YouTube, hear me say this, excuse me, loud and clear this morning. You better find another platform for consuming the program, because we will not be on there. They're not going to let us. I'm telling you, they've already gone back and dinged us twice for some silly nonsense. Download the podcast. That's the best way. Join our email newsletter. We just went out last night. We wrote actually starting a new column that you can catch on our email newsletter list, toddhuffshow.com/subscribe. But download the podcast is probably the best way to regular basis without the interference. Or, of course, listen on Freedom 95 in Indianapolis. But anyway, good to be here. Thanks for joining us. I said yesterday we would be talking about this Colorado shooting. We would be talking about, of course, the conversation that follow, which, of course, include gun control and include references to the shooter's race. I mean, this, folks, we are dealing with a group of people who are running this country, and I mean politically. And I guess I'll pause. Oz is giving me the thumb. We're on YouTube. Wow, amazing thing. She just gave me the thumbs up. We're on YouTube. Anyway, but this country, and when I say being run by, I want to pause. This country is run by you, me. Americans make this country work. Washington, D.C. does not make this country work. In fact, in many cases, this nation is in dramatically worse conditions and dramatically, well, it's in places that it wouldn't be if it wasn't for our leadership. And that's not our politicians. How about that? Sometimes, you just throw, but they're not lead. Just because you're elected doesn't mean you're a leader. In fact, I remember being a part of an organization years ago, and there was someone who was the president of the board, and the individual insisted that he be referred to as the leader because he was the president. And I remember at the time telling others that if you're the leader, you don't have to tell people you're the leader, folks. The leader is the person that people are following, whether it's the president of the board or whether it's just some person who has no title. The leader is the one with people following him or her, right? And there can be multiple leaders, but just because you have a title, just because you have an elected position doesn't make you a leader. In fact, many times it makes you incompetent and you make some moronic decisions if you are in Washington, D.C., oftentimes because of the pressures and all these other factors. People want to keep their positions. They want to stay in good graces with the media. They want to advance radical leftist policy and ideology, which, of course, only makes you look absurd because it always turns out to not be the case when reality comes around, it has a way of smacking people in the face when they promote ideas that are contrary to it. And that's what liberalism is. Liberalism is a series of feelings. And it has become almost a contest for some liberals to say that, that they almost they try to measure how great they are by how much they care. And as it's been said before, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We have to look at the results. We have to look at the ideas. We have to look at what actually happens. But Americans run this country. I wish Americans would wake up to this. In fact, sometimes when I hear people complaining about just the stupidity we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis from some of the laws and the way that government works, people throw their hands and say that's just the way that it is. No, see, I don't see it that way. And I understand at some point that D.C. is its own monster. Trump's revealed the level and the depth of the swamp. But I also understand that we elect the people that are in charge of the political, who are in those positions. And if we don't like it, it's up to us to do something about it. Now, there's realities. We've got political parties and the difficulties of, folks who don't go through the political party system to find their way onto a ballot. And there's real problems. I'm not minimizing, but my point is that they might be the ones crafting the legislation, making the rules, enforcing the policies, or determining where we go next. But it's our country, and we can take it back from these radical leftists if we aren't distracted and misled by the rhetoric, by the narrative, by this "I care more than this person does" sort of talk, because it never produces any results. And that kind of leads us to where we are right now. So Biden yesterday, in the wake of the shooting, said that it's time to act. It's time to act and to do something to stop this gun violence. And to the left, the way that you do this is you pass laws. Because as we all know, criminals follow laws dutifully. That is what they do. Criminals, of course, the common sense in you would say, well, the reason, by definition, you're a criminal by breaking a law, right? So you become a criminal when you do something that is against the law. You break the law already. So the left says the way to stop a criminal is to make another law, because they apparently won't break two laws, right? This is the thinking. This is so ridiculously stupid to me. But this is where this conversation immediately goes. When the emotions are fresh, right? When we don't even know all the facts. And we'll talk about this. We'll talk about how some of these race baiters out there in our nation, some politicians immediately concluded that the shooter was white because they needed and wanted this guy to be white. Why? I mean, on one hand, I completely understand why, but in the sane sense, it makes no sense whatsoever. If you're a person who really cares about people and you care about just trying to solve problems, that is not your first thought. That is not, you think about this in terms of just as a human being. Why do we care? Why do we care the race of people? In fact, by the way, Senator Tammy Duckworth, Democrat, has told Joe Biden that she's not voting for any more of his cabinet picks unless they're LGBTQ or racial minorities. So she's literally taking a segregationist perspective. She's literally going to govern by racism. And this is applauded. Senator Hirono, the lunatic from Hawaii, she's out actually saying she may join Tammy Duckworth. So Biden has literally said the criteria for serving in my cabinet or even as my vice president is your race and gender. That is the sole requirement for Kamala Harris. That's the only thing we've been told about why she's qualified. He said he wanted to have a black woman running mate. That's what he said. That is her stated requirements. That is still not enough for the radical left because they say there's not enough Asians that have been nominated. It's as though we've completely lost our minds on these things. And that became, in the wake of this shooting, one of the first things that many leftists began to discuss. Well, this has to be a white person, they said, because the only reason he was taken alive would be because he's white. If he was black or brown, he would have been killed. This is what the tweets, there's lots of these tweets that say this very thing. Turns out not to be the case, but yet they still say that that's a justifiable position to take. Insanity. But before we get there, let's listen to Joe Biden. Biden says it's time to take action. It's time to do something. It's time to enact laws because, of course, again, criminals follow laws. in the mind of the left, this is how this works. And so we're going to craft something. And by the way, Biden, Jen Psaki, the press secretary that literally makes no sense to me, I would say about 85% of the time. She's circling back. She's got to check with something she doesn't know, that sort of stuff. And then when she does know, I feel more confused after listening to her explain the reasoning and the rationale and the giving us the answer. Like, for example, yesterday we played the soundbite of her being asked if President Biden had seen, maybe it was Monday, had seen a doctor after falling. And she said, I don't know if that's required or not. What's that got to do with anything? And then she went on to tell us how you saw him the rest of the day. Well, what's that got to do with anything? Just because I saw him, do I somehow know? Does he look different? Does he have a radiant glow? Does his skin, does it have a different hue? Does it have a pinkish hue after seeing a doctor? What are we talking about here? How do we even, I can't follow her logic. But these are the things that we're beginning to be told by the left. It's time, she says, to potentially, whether through legislation or through executive action of the President of the United States, pursue some gun control measures. And so that is where we are, and I want to play the soundbite of Biden saying that very thing. It's about a 55-second clip announcing that it's time to take some, what he calls common sense gun reform action, gun reform laws. Here's what he says pertaining to that.
While we're still waiting for more information regarding the shooter, his motive, the weapons he used, the guns, the magazines, the weapons, the modifications that apparently have taken place to those weapons that are involved here, I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps
an hour
that will save the lives in the future, and to urge my colleagues in the House and Senate to act. We can ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country once again. I got that done when I was a senator. It passed. It was law for the longest time. And it brought down these mass killings.
The longest time.
We should do it again. Mm-hmm. We can close the loopholes in our background check system, including the Charleston loophole. That's one of the best tools we have right now to prevent gun violence.
Yeah, it doesn't. He says we're still getting information. At least he's honest about that. But so, I mean, this is what I mean. They react with emotion, right? And this is all, what they want to do is sitting there and waiting. Some people it's sitting there waiting for when there's an opportunity to jump out there and to pursue this, to push this. And so when a shooting happens like this, they immediately jump into action. And they say, we're still waiting for information to come in. We don't exactly know what happened in this one. But so none of these things that I'm presenting as ideas or solutions may have any impact whatsoever. That's really what he's saying when he says this. They may have nothing to do with what just happened. They may have literally, none of these proposed solutions may have done, and they're not solutions, folks. They're violations of the Second Amendment, a gradual, sometimes dramatic erosion of that God-given right that is enumerated in our Bill of Rights in the Constitution. And so they say, he says, I don't know really if this is going to work or not. He's not saying that, but by virtue of what he's telling us, we don't have the information yet. We're still learning things. We don't know if any of this would have even impacted this particular shooting. But the emotion that it causes, and it's tragic. No one will dispute that this is a tragic, terrible, awful thing. No one will dispute that. But the question is, what is the cause? What can be done? And why do people who are law-abiding citizens have to sacrifice their rights when they have literally never done anything, probably many of them not even getting speeding tickets, parking violations? Why do they have to sacrifice their rights because someone decides to use their freedoms in this way, right? That's really what this comes down to, especially when you have no idea what even got, what you're still learning the information. The dust is still settling here. They thought the guy was white yesterday. I think it was yesterday, the night that they were focused on the guy's race because they thought he was white. Oops, he wasn't. Syrian descent. Actually, even not just a white Christian, but he's someone of Syrian background, and he's a Muslim. Well, they thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Now we thought we had a white guy out here. Now we've got a Muslim from Syria. We got to change the narrative on this really quickly. This is how they think. This is pathetic. They admit, Biden admits in the soundbite, he has no idea. He has no idea if any of his proposed legislation or executive action will do anything to prevent or stop what happened in this Colorado shooting in Boulder, Colorado. But yet he's prepared to do whatever it takes. It's common sense. He says, I don't need a minute, let alone an hour. I'm not even sure what reference that is. Doesn't need a minute, let alone an hour. Talks about the assault weapons ban from the 90s, which we're going to talk about that as well. Tell you what the NRA says about that through the research that was done in the wake of that assault weapons ban. Maybe we need to fact check Joe Biden on this. We're going to do that. We're going to fact check Joe Biden on that after the break. We're going to tell you the truth because he says it stops this stuff. The research says that the difference in shootings is almost non-existent. So we'll go through that after the break, but I got to take a time out. A little bit long in this segment. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back here in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and the satisfaction of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279 or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Hunting, fishing, bows, guns, ammo, safes, and more. The Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has all the gear you need for your outdoor experience. We have a huge selection of brands that other shops don't carry, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff ready to answer all your outdoor adventure questions. At Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood, you can even hone your archery skills at our indoor shooting range. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. So get outdoors, but bring the right gear.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and with so much going on, it's sometimes hard to maintain balance. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I'm Pastor Jeff Floyd of the Martinsville First Church of the Nazarene. To experience how life can be better with Jesus, come worship at M1 Church at 10 a.m. this Sunday, 1609 John R. Wooden Drive in Martinsville, or catch our live stream service on Facebook at M1 Church. For more information, visit m1nazarene.org. Have a great day today in Jesus.
Welcome back, by the way. Program brought to you in part by the Outdoorsman Shop. The Outdoorsman Shop is your one-stop sportsman store for hunting, fishing, firearms, archery equipment, and much more. You can find out more about them online, outdoorsmansportshop.com. They've been established since 1976, and their mission is to bring a high-quality hunting shop to the Greenwood area. Outdoorsman Sportshop.com. Outdoorsmansportshop.com. Be sure to tell them that the Todd Huff Show sent you. So let's get back into this assault weapons ban. Right, Biden says it's time to reinstate the assault weapons ban from the 90s. He was one. He apparently was the one. Now, he, of course, was involved, but he says, hey, I did this back in the 90s. It's time to do this again today. This is a no-brainer. This is common sense. We need to limit these assault weapons. We need to stop the use of high-capacity magazines and so forth, and it's time to do this. NRA, however, actually the NRA ILA, which is the Institute for Legal Legislative Action, I should say. This is an article back from August of 2019. No, Joe, your gun ban didn't work. He says this, the article says this. Joe Biden has been out on the primary campaign trail working hard, maybe a little too hard. We got to let them know who we are, he recently told a crowd of supporters at the Iowa State Fair. Perhaps the most accurate of the qualities he used to describe himself and his fellow travelers was we choose truth over facts. Oh my gosh, remember that? We choose truth over facts. That much we know, Joe. And while Biden's statement may sound like an amusing gaffe, the truth that matters to many in the anti-gun movement isn't the truth, but their truth. Case in point, Biden also recently lent his name to an editorial in the New York Times in which he claimed banning assault weapons works. He was, to use modern activist technology, speaking his truth. And so, in so doing, he was ignoring the facts. Biden claimed in his editorial that quote, with Senator Dianne Feinstein, I led the effort to enact the 1994 law that banned assault weapons and high-capacity magazines for 10 years, and that, quote, those gun safety reforms made our nation demonstrably more secure, end quote. The NRA-ILA says this. In fact, the assault weapon ban, championed by Biden, in 1994 contained a provision that required the U.S. Attorney General to, quote, investigate and study the effect of the law with an emphasis on its impact, if any, on violent and drug trafficking crime. Thereafter came not one but two detailed studies commissioned by the U.S. Department of Justice. Neither concluded that Biden's assault weapon ban had any demonstrable effect on reducing violent crime. May I read this again? There were two studies per the legislation that were conducted, and both of those studies concluded that the assault weapon ban had no demonstrable effect on reducing violent crime. That was their conclusion. In the first study, the authors recognized that banning assault weapons was unlikely to ever move the needle on violent crime, given that firearms meeting that legal designation were actually underrepresented in firearm-related homicides. At best, they wrote, the assault weapons ban can have only a limited effect on total gun murders because the banned weapons and magazines were never involved in more than a modest fraction of all gun murders. 7 years later, the lead authors received another grant to update their findings. Again, the authors indicated that the ban missed the point. The assault weapon provision targets a relatively small number of weapons based on features that have little to do with the weapons operation, their report stated. They also reiterated that assault weapons were used in only a small fraction of gun crimes prior to the ban, about 2%, according to most studies, and no more than 8%. 2 to 8% is what they concluded. That's the percentage of gun crimes in which so-called assault weapons are used. And on top of that, most of those assault weapon crime guns are pistols rather than rifles. The authors also conceded that the ban had no effect on the criminal use of what today's gun control advocates consider the paradigmatic assault rifle, the AR-15. There has not been a clear decline in the use of AR-15s, they wrote, an assessment of that was complicated by the rarity of crimes with those weapons. Likewise, the authors saw no drop in the use of banned magazines in crime and could not clearly credit the ban with any of the nation's recent drop in gun violence. I'm not going to continue to read this, but you get the idea. Science, Biden, the party of science and research, the party that's supposedly smarter than the rest of us, the party that's not ruled by what they want, but they follow that science. They follow it wherever it leads. Of course, we know that that's not the case, but nonetheless, that's what they tell us. The science is clear. The science is spoken. Multiple research demonstrates, multiple studies, I should say, has concluded, and scientists agree, that the assault weapons ban has little to no effect on gun crime in this nation. Quick timeout is in order. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Ward's Apparel, Edwards Equipment, and Indiana Wooded Paradise Retreat by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time, Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 down, back up, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Are you looking for reliable advice on real estate investing? Then you should start listening to the Homeboys. Clint and Scott have over 40 years of real estate investing experience that they use to educate and guide their listeners. Listen and learn from their experiences to maximize your real estate investment strategy. You can find the Homeboys podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or watch them on YouTube. That's the Homeboys podcast. They can show you how to get started and reach your real estate investment goals.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Thank you, Oz, for the warm beverage here. Sorry, I had a little bit trouble with the clearing of the throat last segment. Not as bad as Biden still, but anyway, good to, I think we've hopefully got that nipped in the bud. So we shared, look, this assault weapons ban, science has proven 98% of scientists, as I like to say, 98% of scientists agree that listening to this program can stop and even reverse those effects of liberalism. If you are a liberal who tune in, 98% of scientists agreed. You can't argue with science. I think 98% of scientists also agree that the assault weapons ban did not achieve its intended and stated results. And so that is where we stand with this, but that is what they're going to push. And folks, I think a lot of times, and we talk about this aspect. Again, I touched on it, but I didn't spend much time because because of what they're trying to do with it. I'm reminded of Rahm Emanuel, and as terrible and as awful as it is, never forget that Rahm Emanuel said, he actually said this, never let a crisis go to waste. That's what he said. Never let a crisis go to waste. If there is something that has upset, people in this nation, if there's something that is either a clear problem or a problem that you can get people to believe that's real, and you can use that to your advantage politically to get what you want done in Congress, then do it. And it's awful to take that perspective, because you're basically viewing those that are affected by the issue as political pawns. And so for those of us who respond to this, we know that that is how the radical left thinks. They think that there is a crisis or something bad happened. The government can come in and say how terrible it was, and that they have a solution to that. We have a solution to that problem. And if you just let us do it, we can quit this or make these terrible things not happen to anyone else ever again. And if you don't agree with them, that you are part of the problem. You don't care about people who have suffered great loss. See, I do. This is tragic and horrific and terrible what happened. These folks should not be used as political pawns either to achieve something the radical left has dreamed about for a long, long time. They have this, you just think about this, they have this sitting there ready to go. They've got talking points ready. They've got their legislative agenda ready. They've got their list of what they need to do to fix this problem, to prevent it from happening again. But it defies logic and common sense. That is not how the world works. The government causes many more problems than it could ever actually solve. That's why the founders were geniuses, folks. That's why when you look at the Constitution and you look at the responsibilities that the founders gave to our government, right? These are the Constitution, when you think about it, is really a document that says, okay, here's the deal. We are free. We have rights. Government is not our God. So we understand that governments grow, that governments have a tendency to acquire more power, and to, just do really bad things in the lives of people. The more government is involved, the more bad things typically, the less freedom, the less prosperity that we have. We just want to live our lives. And so the founders said, government is necessary. It may just be a necessary evil. And if men were angels, government wouldn't even be necessary, but it is necessary. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, this is what we agree to. You have these specific roles and functions. And by the way, just to make it clear, we're going to put a Bill of Rights in here that lists some, not all, some of the rights that we retain for ourselves and for the states. The federal government is not on top of the food chain, and the states are servants to the federal government. We have come together as individual states. That's why we're called the United States of America, and we have agreed to function within this framework that's laid out in the Constitution. And so we put our names to this. This is what we agree to. This is what the government should do. If it does anything outside of these documents, it's stepping outside of the purview of its responsibility and authority. That's effectively what it is, right? That's effectively what it is. But yet government doesn't, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing to watch if you can remove yourself emotionally and just look at it. Look at it from a distance, and you think, the government doesn't do the things that it's tasked to do. It ignores those things. And then it finds itself doing a bunch of things that it's not empowered to do whatsoever. And people seek for the government to do those things because these politicians, these professional sophists, professional deceivers have made it sound so enticing to people. If you just give us more power, if you just give us more money, we can fix everything. We can make everybody get paid the same. We can make sure that you'll be happy. We can make sure that your life will be perfect on planet Earth. All you have to do is just follow our rules, and we'll make those people, we'll make someone else pay for what you deserve. They've probably stolen it from you anyway. On and on this nonsense goes. But yet, as Ronald Reagan says, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, because it never works out. It never works out. Bad things happen. Unintended consequences. Sometimes they're intended, if we're being true. Again, never let a crisis go to waste, per Rahm Emanuel himself. But this is... the things that happen here, we would make so much more progress, in my estimation, if we started as a culture and a society focusing on teaching character, responsibility, fixing some of the problems in broken homes, the tendency to turn to violence, just addressing those character issues head on and saying we can somehow legislate this stuff out of existence. And to hell, they say, with how this tramples upon the rights of law-abiding American citizens who want to simply exercise their freedoms to keep and bear arms. So, a timeout is in order here. Sit tight. We'll be back here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items, at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Corn Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corn Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the word for on time.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Welcome back, my friends. Program brought to you in part by our friends at Spur of the Moment Creations. They provide homemade, hand-poured candles and candle melts. They have 200 fragrances that are available. They have paraffin and soy candles and candle melts. $5 flat shipping, free shipping on orders of $50 or more. They've got some wide variety of flavors. You know, I remember in talking with Brian and Peggy, who own Spur of the Moment Creations. They had done a lot of business with, you know, things like county fairs and things like that, but COVID shut this stuff down. And so we had worked to find a way to try to help them. So check them out, spurofthemomentcreations.com. Homemade, hand-poured candles and candle melts, 200 fragrances that are available, spurofthemomentcreations.com. So, look, we've gone through today really the strategy, the tactics of the left. And one thing I've touched on, but I haven't spent a lot of time on, is something I want to conclude here with at the end of the day, end of the program, I should say. And it's the response from the left when they thought this guy, again, I mentioned this but we didn't sink our teeth into it, but when they thought that the shooter was actually a white guy, they assumed he was white, and you can see tweets about this. They assumed he was white because he hadn't been killed. And you think about this, the audacity, the total lack of responsibility to say, well, the shooter must have been white because otherwise law enforcement would have shot him. Folks, that you realize how disrespectful and how offensive that is. Now, the law enforcement community are not going to come out and complain about this publicly because that's not who they are. But if you ask these guys and ladies who are involved in law enforcement, they're going to say, you know, Todd, that's nothing to do with it. We are trying to do our job. In fact, we've seen the studies. We've actually seen studies that say that law enforcement officers take slightly longer. It's a quick decision, but it's slightly longer to engage in the use of deadly force or to fire their firearm if that person is a minority because of this stuff. Because if you're pausing and thinking I should fire, but man, if I kill someone, I don't want to do that, but I have no choice. When I've made that decision, a law enforcement officer made the decision to fire his or her weapon, it's because that was the only option left to take care of the issue, to stop the threat, to end this nonsense, right? And then they think that there's a split second where they think, man, if it's someone who's, they're going to protest for me shooting, that makes them less likely to fire. It's a terrible situation. But Representative Ilhan Omar, others did it too. But she tweeted this: the shooter's race or ethnicity seems front and center when they aren't white. Otherwise, it's just a mentally ill young man. She's referencing the shooting in wherever it was. I'm running out of time here, but this is inexcusable behavior by the left. It's predictable. It's right there for all of us to see. But this is a really big problem. Law enforcement officers are just trying to do their job, And this sort of behavior, these assumptions, only fuel this and make this even a larger, more emotionally stoked problem. Inexcusable behavior by our politicians. Back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit blakehornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today, providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price. Our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Unhappy with your CPAP machine? Now you have an alternative. The docs at Indy Dental Sleep have an oral appliance that treats snoring and sleep apnea. They begin with an in-home sleep test that is diagnosed by a sleep physician before prescribing your appliance. And it's covered by most medical insurance plans. It's preferred 20-1 versus CPAP. Call 317-888-4036 and start getting the sleep you need. Or visit IndyDentalSleep.com.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
All right, my friends, I wanted to go through one more quick. This is just kind of a bit of a housekeeping thing here, but I mentioned we have made some, I guess you could say, changes to our email newsletter, which is completely free. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to find a different place to consume this program, to watch this program. Podcast, subscribe to the email newsletter. Maybe Facebook until they decide to do the same thing. But anyway, ToddHuffShow.com/subscribe is how you sign up for the email newsletter. Totally free. We're doing some different things. One fact, I just started a new column last night and yesterday. Well, we had one on yesterday's email, and asked some folks, asked anyone who got it, what are some ideas on some names? I haven't named it yet. One of my friends responded, the Huff and Puff. Not very nice. Jake, that's not nice. He was teasing, but hope he was teasing. Anyway, we're also looking at adding a Bible study for free for those who sign up for the email newsletter as well. So not 100% sure, but that's what we're looking at. I got to go. Thank you so much. Have a great day. SDGC tomorrow. Take care.
Hi, this is Kenton with Christian Community Connect. We're a network of business professionals that are committed to living out our faith in the marketplace by preferring one another in love while serving everyone. With online listings at $27 per month, if you're a Christian in business, committed to treating others as you would want to be treated, we would love to include you. Check our reviews and sign up at ChristianCommunityConnect.com.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
Ever wondered what shooting